Hello, everybody. Welcome to Late Night Football. Welcome to our match reaction show. It's finished Liverpool 3, Bournemouth 1. A come from behind victory for Liverpool, and a lot of positives to take from this game for Liverpool. A lot of positives. I think more positives than the game against Chelsea. Now, a lot of people will look at that scoreline. They look at that first goal that was conceded, right? And they'll go, well, Liverpool are going to, Liverpool are, there's a problem in defense, a problem in midfield, in defensive midfield. And that is true. That is absolutely true. I think what I will say to everyone is that just don't expect Liverpool to win games 1-0. Don't expect them to win 2-0, 3-0. That's just not going to happen. It's always going to be 3-1, 2-1, 4-2, 3-2, those kind of scorelines. You're going to get those kind of scorelines with Liverpool because they are going to concede goals, but they're also going to score a lot of goals. And that, does that mean they will win the title this season? Not with this squad. And again, the caveat is that nothing changes between now and December 31st, August 31st, which is unlikely. But they will concede a lot of goals, they'll score a lot of goals, and that may not win them the title, but that puts them firmly in the race for top 4. They will still be, in my opinion, they're still firmly in that race for top 4 because if you can score goals, right, there will come a point where it comes a point where even if you're a good defensive team, you'll get sloppy and you'll concede goals. And even if you're a good attacking team, there's times when you'll get, when you're not be clinical and you won't score goals. But if you're not scoring, if you're scoring goals already and you hit a rough patch, it's much easier to restart scoring goals. Whereas if you're defending and you hit a rough patch, right, you start losing games, and it's very difficult to get that back. So you'd rather be in a position where you're scoring a lot of goals as opposed to where you're keeping a lot of clean sheets. That's just my opinion. But nonetheless, I'm talking about the game itself. The goal itself that Bournemouth scored, it's an error, right? It's an error from Van Dijk to. The pass from Van Dijk to Trent Alexander-Arnold is not the best. Alexander-Arnold's control is not the best. Andy Robertson's defending is not the best. So there's a combination of errors there. But that's bound to happen because you're playing out from the back, because you're trying out these new systems and shapes, and it is a problem. And that's what happened. And Semenyo was there on hand to take advantage of that and make it 1-0. But that happens so often where a team away from home, particularly one that has no chance, comes in, scores early, and that the problem with sometimes for teams like Bournemouth scoring early in a game like this is that it immediately puts you on the back foot because you immediately start to think, well, now we've got something to hold on to. And you kind of lose your natural game plan in that. And I think that's what happened with Bournemouth as well. The longer the game went on at 1-0, they started, they started rightly, but as it went on 1-0, they started getting a little bit more, it starts to get altitude sickness in a way because you start to think, oh my God, okay, this is happening, this protect, let's protect. And ultimately what really happened is they ran out of steam because they kept trying to press high, and and slowly Liverpool got in the game. Szoboszlai got in the game, and then it just all started to work for Liverpool. And the first goal, that Diaz goal is so good, by the way. It's the goal of the match. Really quite such a finish that, as it just flicks it onto his foot and then takes it in. He's a fantastic player, by the way. Luis Diaz is a player that I think, his combination of pace and directness is fantastic. If he can add end product like goals and assists to his game, he's absolutely unbeatable, and that is what he's showing now. At times he can be frustrating, but today and in the last game now he's got 2 goals in 2 games, and that just shows you a level of maybe that level of consistency in the end product is coming, and that was a good finish though. And then the penalty shout. Now, was that a penalty? I'm thinking it was not a penalty. For me, it was not a penalty. But again, the point is that once it's given, VAR will not overturn it. If the referee had not given that as a penalty, the VAR would have said, forget it, leave it alone. But because the referee has given it as a penalty, it's one of those 50-50 decisions. But the referee gives it as a penalty, so the VAR says, fine, let it be a penalty. I've seen those given, I've seen those not given. If it was me, I would not give it. But then again, looking at it first time, it looked like it was a penalty first time. But then when you look at it again in replay close by, then it's not a penalty. But it's one of those 50-50 decisions. So Salah, of course, missed the penalty when he scored the rebound. Neto, I think twice, 2 goals from rebounds, by the way. That's very interesting as well, just to name on Liverpool's point of view. But Salah made it 2-1, and you just felt like Liverpool were going to control this game and see it out. I don't think Bournemouth is not clinical enough. There were some half chances, half opportunities. Never really had the conviction to get that second goal. Always looked a little bit nervous, a little bit shaky, unsure, and just kept going to the 2-1, and then of course the red card. And this will be disappointing Bournemouth a lot because the fact is that the red card decision happened. Now, was that a red card? First of all, again, if it was not given as a red card, if it was a yellow card, VAR would not have intervened. right? But because the referee has given it as a red card, again, the VAR is going, that's a fair decision. There's no clear and obvious error. It's red, and so the referee's not going to overturn it. Now you could have your opinion. I've seen things. I mean, last season we saw red cards given for much less. I mean, Casemiro's tackle was not even was given as a red card. So these things happen, right? These kind of decisions will go against you, and I've seen those given. I've seen them not given. So it's very difficult for me to say. I would say it was borderline red. I wouldn't complain if it was a yellow, but I'm not gonna sit here and say the red was the wrong decision. But if the ref had not given it, like I said, we have not overturned it. If you're a Liverpool fan, you probably think it is not a red card, and if you're not a Liverpool fan, you might think it's a red card, and you'd be right either way. I think it's such a subjective decision that I can't really tell you anything other than the fact that if I was in that situation, I don't know what I would have done, but I would have, like, I don't know, if I was a referee, I don't know whether I would have given it a red or not. On first glance, it looks like it has all the criteria for a red, but then when you consider the context of the game, you probably think, no, it's not a red. So I don't know. Thank God I'm not a referee in that situation. But nonetheless, what would disappoint Bournemouth is immediately after going down to 10 men, Liverpool actually scored. And for most of the game, after being down to 10 men, it looked like Liverpool actually had the extra man because it looked so much better. And it just became 3-1. Again, it's a rebound. It's a good shot from Szoboszlai, and Diogo Jota turns at the rebound, makes it 3-1, and after that it was just about game management from Liverpool. They just saw the game out. A couple of nervy moments towards the end, as it happens, but they saw the game out, and it's 3-1. What I think will help Liverpool is the fact that the red card, despite the red card, I think what it will help is that it will allow them to now play Endo, whoever they want to play as a CDM, and they can now see how that system would work. And then when McAllister is back, they can decide how to tweak it, because they need to get a CDM in there. I feel that they need to, even if it's someone like Endo, and maybe Endo might turn out to be, this is someone that we can work with, but they need to check that out. I think having being forced to play him now, or whoever the CDM is to play a CDM now, that really helps Klopp kind of ease everything in and figure out the system, because otherwise you're playing against smaller teams, you don't generally realize what's going on. So playing in the bigger games, the Premier League games, to have to play that, I think would be a blessing in disguise for Liverpool. But the game belongs to Szoboszlai. A man of the match for me, Dominik Szoboszlai. I put that in the headline as well, Szoboszlai, because he bossed that game. He absolutely bossed that game. Took a while to get going, but he was looking very good, very good. I felt at times Liverpool were playing a 2-4-4 because Szoboszlai kept going down that right channel. He was sometimes inside right, sometimes wide right. Salah and him were kind of interchanging, but his runs from midfield were so critical. Obviously, he had got the penalty. That at the first goal, the sheer shot was rebound and Jota scored in. So he had a hand in 2 goals, even though he didn't score either of them. But he looked lively throughout. It was absolutely excellent. And I think he's going to be more than McAllister. I think he could be the buy for Liverpool. That's really going to, I mean, if they can get a proper CDM in, they've got a very good midfield. Then because Szoboszlai, McAllister, and a proper CDM, whether that's Endo, whether that's somebody else, but if they can get a good CDM in, that's a very good midfield. That's probably, I think, after Chelsea, probably the second, Chelsea and maybe Manchester City is still. I'm still intrigued to see what Manchester City's midfield would look like, but it's definitely among the top four midfields in the league, and that's saying something. That is saying something, and we know how important midfields are. But I mean, Szoboszlai could be one of the buys of the season. He really looks very, very good. He looked good against Liverpool as well, against Chelsea as well. Sorry, and he looked good here as well. I think he just has that little. He has a little bit of X factor about him as well, just like Diaz, but in midfield, because he's someone who's quite powerful, so he can make powerful runs. He's also very technically gifted. So then you have that combination of power, of technical and physical attributes. It's very difficult to stop you as an opposition defender. So I like what I'm seeing from him, which of course, as a Manchester United fan, it pains me, but I think Liverpool might have got a very good player there. Anyway, but 3-1 win, 3 points. I think it was important for them. They wouldn't have wanted to lose or draw this game. They're already a little bit behind Manchester City and the rest of the chasing pack. You don't want to be falling 4 points or whatever points, a number of points behind. You want to get 3 points, particularly in a home game against Bournemouth. You want to get 3 points from that. So I'm very, very, and from a Liverpool point of view, I think it's a very, very important result for them. And, the fact that they came from behind is, it was in some ways, it was a game that had a bit of jeopardy. They had to come from behind. They were down to 10 men, and yet they never looked like, and yet aside from the opening, maybe 10, 15 minutes, they never looked like they were going to lose the game. So that I think will give Klopp a lot of confidence and give him a lot of belief, and will give the team a lot of belief as well going into the next game. Anyway, share your thoughts, of course. Smash a like for Liverpool. Smash a like for Szoboszlai if he was your man of the match as well. Smash a like for that, of course. And do subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We've got a lot more videos coming today. So subscribe and get to stay notified. We'll see you again very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching this one. Take care. Bye-bye.